For a while, it seemed like escape rooms on PSVR were the new wave shooter. You couldn't scroll through the PlayStation Store without running into them constantly. 18 Floors, Esper, Dying Reborn, The Rabbit Hole, The Door, I Expect You to Die? But making a solid puzzle game proved to be a hit-or-miss undertaking. Escape rooms aren't exactly known for their straightforward puzzle logic, so giving the player enough clues, along with making the puzzles fair yet challenging, is a pretty fine line to walk, which developer Unlimited Fly does surprisingly well in their new PlayStation VR game, Blindspot. Diving into Blindspot reveals two things right off the bat. First, this is a pretty good looking game. The visuals certainly err a bit on the blurry side, but the attention given to every room blows away most of the competition. Each space packs a ton of detail and looks radically different than the area before it, with plenty of small touches, like rain on windows, reflections, and lighting effects, that make the mansion especially enjoyable to explore. Oh, and the other thing you discover quick is that you're going to be attached to your virtual cell phone in this game, even more than your real cell phone in real life. In fact, you can't even put it away. It functions as a menu screen, inventory, map, and of course it's also your flashlight, henceforth referred to as the brightest flashlight in video game history, which actually doesn't seem that out of place here, because despite the main hallway's eerie resemblance to the original Resident Evil mansion, this isn't a horror game or even creepy at all. Blindspot is undeniably odd, but this isn't a game about jump scares or danger lurking around every corner. In fact, as you progress through the game, it becomes readily apparent that this is a story about a family with a troubled past, and uncovering the sordid details of your childhood probably isn't going to be filled with the warmest of memories. And this is actually where Blindspot stumbles a lot. Most of the story is told through cell phone text message exchanges with a mysterious stranger. This could have been an effective device to occasionally push the story forward, but instead Blindspot relies on this mechanic at practically every turn. Aside from a few rough translations, it's fine for a while, but by the end of the second hour I found myself skipping through entire conversations. But I feel like we're getting into the weeds, because the puzzles in Blindspot are the real focus here, and they deliver exactly what I was looking for. For the most part, they're really well thought out. They make you stop and think for a few minutes, experiment with whatever items are lying around, and when you inevitably discover the solution, you feel like a genius, and you kick yourself for not figuring it out earlier. There's a nice variety here too. You'll have to pull levers, turn mirrors, do some simple math, and even alter time to find your answers, so it never gets old. It's a little red matter, a little seventh guessed, but still manages to have a vibe all its own. This is a bizarre mansion with thankfully bizarre ways to open every locked door, making these rooms some of the more memorable puzzles on the platform. Plus, there's a great soundtrack that changes from room to room that helps keep the pressure off, even when you're totally lost. Blindspot comes with chapters 1 and 2 at launch, which should take about 4 hours to complete if you're prone to stumbling around a bit like me. Chapter 3 is said to be coming soon as free DLC, and once it's here, as long as the quality is up to the same standards of chapters 1 and 2, the $30 price tag will feel far more justified. The issue, of course, being that we have to trust it's coming. There's no denying that the cell phone-centric story presentation leaves a lot to be desired, but pretty much everything else from the graphics and music, to of course the puzzles themselves, is certainly make up for it, and make this mansion one worth exploring.